Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of LMScast. This is part 4 in our Ultimate Course Creation Framework series. Again, this series runs parallel to the email mini course that we've created called the Ultimate Course Creation Framework. And if you haven't already joined us, please do head over to LifterLMS.com/course clinic, or you can text us the word course clinic to 33444 and we'll get you enrolled that way. But it's really important for you to join that course, because if you don't, a lot of what we talk about isn't going to make a whole lot of sense. So the nitty gritty can be found there, and we're going to be talking about everything at a high level. So today, again, part 4, we've gone through, just to recap, we've gone through the rapid enrollment process, which is a series of things you need to do to get a student interest list of 100 people or more together. And then the second step, which plays on the first one, is finding the magical education intersection, and that's that intersection point between the knowledge that you have and kind of what your student want to learn. So it's all about market research and how to find that sweet spot. And then the third step is our collaborative course process, where you actually pre-sell your course to a specific group, a very niche focused group of people, so that you can validate whether or not people want to pay for your knowledge. And then today, we're actually going to take a step back, take a breath, and talk about just teaching. Because I think before we get into the designing the digital classroom, which is tomorrow's or next lesson, I should say, we need to talk about how to teach online, and it's totally different than teaching in person. It's just because you can teach in person doesn't mean you're going to be a great online teacher. So you want to make sure that you're thinking about the online environment. So Chris, let me just give you the floor here. You've taught a lot online. And I've seen you actually develop as a teacher from way back in the day, when you're doing Timber Pimps to, which was like a word working course that you did. I've seen you do gardening courses. I've seen you do e-learning courses. I mean, you WordPress courses. I mean, you've done everything, and you have lots and lots of experience here. So how do you, what are the things that you think about when you go to teach online?
That's a great question. It's totally different than being in person, although it feels like you could just film me and we'll be fine, but it doesn't work that way. So it's kind of like that with great power comes great responsibility thing. Like, yeah, you can leverage the scale and the enormous nature of the internet and the global reach, but you're going to have to do things a little bit differently. There's going to be shorter attention spans. You might be reaching across cultures in ways you've never done before. And you may be touching different generations who learn differently. Like if I'm teaching WordPress stuff to somebody who's like 20 versus somebody who's like 65, I need to take a totally different approach.
Right.
So I think the number one thing you have to do is, like, in general, get familiar with your target audience. Like, who are they? And it's fine if they're spread across a large age range. But then within that target audience, you have to some of those people are going to learn differently.
Right. Yeah.
There's the people who learn visually. They're going to want lots of video, diagrams, infographics, charts, things like that. There's the kinesthetic people who need to feel it in their body, and like it depends on what your content is, but people who like learn in the body need to be moving and experimenting and learning things through exercise, whether that's like muscular or through like assignments. Go ahead. It looks
No,
like
I'm just laughing because I'm that way, and I'm just thinking about your daughter Zoe and,
yeah.
and Hazel and their different learning. I think kids are great to learn about the learning styles because it's so evident. But I'm just thinking, like, you've got one child who's very much in the head and one who's very in the body, right?
Yeah,
And so when you teach them, like, you have to be, into this, right?
right. That's the same thing. Anybody who's a parent with more than one kid, it's amazing how different they can be, and any learner is just like that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, for kinesthetic, real quick, my mom put me on a treadmill.
yeah,
No joke. Like, she was like, here's your book. Go put it on, 3 miles an hour and just walk while you read it. And believe it or not, I mean, that helped me avoid all sorts of ADD medication and whatnot. And so when you go online, a simple way of applying that principle, and it's not like perfect, but just having these break points in your course where you tell people to go take a break. Because this kinesthetic learner is not going to consciously go, oh, I need to take a break. They're going to be like, this course sucks. That's actually that's how they say it. It's like, I'm not learning, this course sucks. In reality, they just need a break. And if you take the responsibility to tell them when a break should happen, where there is a natural break in your lessons, you're going to be leaps and bounds ahead with the kinesthetic people. So sorry, digressing
That's
a little bit, but it's such an important point to make.
Yeah, it may feel like a lot of work, but when you're creating lesson content, like if you have the option, do it in all possible ways: text, video, audio, downloads, something somebody can put on their phone and listen to while they're exercising or watching while they're exercising. Just open it up. And I think the biggest blind spot that people have is to assume that the way they learn is the way other people learn. So I'm a
Right.
pretty visual guy. I'm always going to go to the video, but uh, just a portion of a learning style there.
And I think it's funny because our co-founder Thomas is like hates video, and
Yeah.
he's gonna look for the PDF that he can download or the audio that he could probably play on double speed, because he
Yeah.
just doesn't have any interest in sitting here and watching us.
Videos are slow. Like
Right.
for the not, yeah, that's what some people would say.
So you got to take all this into account, and it's really good. So keep going. Sorry, I'm just getting excited because I love to teach.
Yeah. Some other things just relate to the content you're putting out, but also what motivates the person. And there's 4 things you can look at when creating lesson content. And it's the questions you need to answer: the why, what, how, and what if. So a why learner needs to, this is for kind of for motivation, but also to actually learn the content. A why learner needs to know, well, why is this lesson important? Why, if I learn this method, will I be better off? Like tell me the big
good.
picture. Then the what person is like, well, what is this theory that just tell me about it, explain it to me. I need to see how it all works, not just why it's important. And then the how person is like, forget the why and the what, just give me the action steps. Give me step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just want to do it. Teach me how to do this thing. I don't need the philosophy behind it. Then the what if person is very interesting, because they're like, why does this matter? What if I don't do this? Or what if I
Yeah.
do this well? Or what if I do this wrong? They're like scenario people that are in like all this kind of logic. So the best teachers are able to teach in a way that all 4 of those are answered through all learning styles: audio, visual, kinesthetic. So that's, if you want a quick tour on how to make a powerful lesson, there you go. And you need to be like very entertaining on screen. This is the internet, short attention span. Like, you got to build that relationship.
Yeah, yeah, and you're doing it right now. You're bigger with your energy,
Yeah.
and it might feel a bit weird, but it comes across so much better than if you're just kind of like. And today we're going to be talking about mathematics. It's
Move
like
your mouse over here and click this button.
yeah, exactly. You got to be fun and have fun. And I think we've actually learned that. I've learned more about teaching through this podcast than I have anything else, because every single week I got to step up to the plate and teach. And I've seen myself, like, I look back on some LMScast episodes, I'm like, I really blew it there. I just didn't have the coffee, I wasn't right mindset, or whatever it was. So it's been fun. And I think one of the things that I've learned, and I've done this recently with a course I'm working on next year, I just have everything broken out in, I like workflowy. It's a very personal choice. You could do this in a number of different tools.
That's a list app for those of you.
Yeah, it's a base. Yeah, exactly. It's a list app. It's like a hierarchical like outline. It's nice. It's very simplistic, but I have just these little identifiers that I use. So audio, visual, kinesthetic, and then I have like V for video, and then SV for screen video. So I break that out. So video is just me, like in front of the camera. SV is screen video, like PowerPoint or just showing something. Audio would be an audio excerpt of that, like so detaching the audio from whatever it was I'm teaching to make sure that I have that included for people who are audio learners, and then putting that in like some sort of embeddable player that has. I think it's really important to have fast forward or double time, because a lot of people who are audio, the reason they jump to audio is so that they can play it faster. So if you remove that from them, it's not good.
Or they can multitask.
Yeah, they multitask. Exactly. They can throw it in their pocket and whatnot. And then kinesthetic, like how many lessons am I stringing together before I tell them to take a break? So I just kind of plot it out so I can see my outline, like this is how I'm accommodating all the different people in this. And I'm always looking at ways to improve that. But it's fun. And I mean, there's other things that you can talk about too. We have a lot of other videos on engagement, but I do think it's important to do engagement. And I think the one thing that people miss when it comes to awarding badges is give the badge value, give the badge context, and do that at the beginning of your course. So show them the map of badges that that they need to earn to achieve the certificate. Like, map that out for them, because if I'm in a course and I get a badge, who gives a rip? I didn't know I was going to get it. It didn't do anything for me. And I'm just, you know what I mean? Like, it's just weird, actually. It's like, why did I get a badge? Like, I didn't know that I was going to get a badge. But if on the introduction lesson or part of the introduction or fast start or whatever you want to call it, you're like, and this is the steps that you're going to go through to achieve this badge, and boom, and you show it to them, that is so huge. That's another really cool thing that you can do online. It actually, if I step back, it's not new. We've been doing this for years, and Boy Scouts is the same thing. Oh, you want the archery badge? You got to do this, 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 and this to get the archery badge. Oh, you want to be a Weebelo instead of a Cub Scout? These are all the things you got to do to get to the Weebelo and then Boy Scout. So we've always this isn't new. We've just taken it online, but we forget that we don't tell our students like we tell the Cub Scout. This is how you become a Weebelo, and this is how this is how you progress. People need to know that. Otherwise, they're flying blind. So that's another thing about teaching and engagement that people need to think about. So I'm excited. I hope there's something in here that the listeners can take away. I know there is, where they can increase and improve their online teaching ability. Again, if you haven't already opted in and signed up to take our free 5-part course, the Ultimate Course Creation Framework, which really, is a step-by-step method for you to take away all risk of creating a course that no one wants to take. So it's huge. You can head over to LifterLMS.com/course clinic and jump in there, or you can email or text us the word course clinic to 33444, and we'll get you signed up that way. So, Chris, do you have any final thoughts for the viewers at home or the listeners in the metropolitan subways or in their cars?
Yeah, I just want to say, if you want to be successful, you may have a great course idea. You may have a great strategy on how you're going to teach or a curriculum, but take note of this lesson and go take a deep dive on the Ultimate Course Creators Framework, because it's not just about publishing that course, it's about making exceptional lesson content. That's what can be a major differentiator for you out there in the wild, out there in the marketplace.
I love it. All right. Well, we will talk to you next week with the 5th and final part of the Ultimate Course Creation Framework series. So excited to release that to you, and we'll talk to you then.